I haven't fed this sourdough starter in weeks. In fact, I haven't even done anything with it. It's been completely dormant and packed in flour. But after one single simple step, it looks like this. And in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how you get from here to there and how you can simplify your entire sourdough method. Now, I get it. If you feel overwhelmed with sourdough, you've landed in the right video. If you have been believing or trying to feed your sourdough starter every single day, and then you end up with a bunch of discards and it's frustrating you and you're not enjoying the waste or the pressure to actually use your sourdough starter all the time, and you've given up because you just feel like it's too much of a commitment and too much going on constantly, then again, this video is exactly for you. Who am I to tell you about this? I'm Anya, and I have been baking with sourdough for over 50 years, and that ages me a little bit, but I actually started when I was really little, and I have been using my German family's generations-old sourdough method. We don't do discards, and we barely ever do feedings to keep a sourdough starter alive. Now, let me explain my method just a little bit. However, I also want to clarify, this video is not about how to make a sourdough starter. If you want to learn how to make a sourdough starter, and I have a really easy method, again, no feedings, no discards, no measurements, no complicated, lengthy instructions. Check the link below because I have a resource for you that teaches you exactly my German family's generations-old, super simple sourdough method, how to make a sourdough starter. This is about how to maintain your sourdough starter once you have it active, and it doesn't matter if you use my method to come up with a sourdough starter or if you already have one. You can use this at any given time, and the beauty of it is you can, if you actually enjoy feeding and keeping your sourdough starter on the counter and feeding it every day and using it every day, you can transition back and forth between all these methods, and that's the flexibility of it, and that's what I love so much about it. So now you have baked with your sourdough starter, and this can go a few different ways. Either you scoop some of the sourdough starter out, you pour it out or whatever to make your recipe, because ideally you have a little bit more sourdough starter than you need for your recipe, or you have taken some out from something else and put it in here, or you even have just like the scrapings here on the side. That may also be enough, but I like to just in case have a little bit more like this. How much do we need? I sometimes like to say golf ball size. Sometimes I like to say 2 tablespoons, but you can see that it's not really so important to be super exact because I don't do exact measurements. I do eyeballing, and let's say golf ball size, maybe 2 tablespoons, but somewhere in between. This is what it looks like. And even if you only have the scrapings in there, you can put some flour in there. Now, what I do with this is I simply add flour. And again, we're not measuring anything. We're kind of eyeballing, but we need a lot. And since we're not measuring, I think a lot is a good description, good measurement. And simply mix it all into a very dry mass. I love it when there's flour all over the place because that is an active working kitchen. We're not trying to be neat here or perfect. And it's getting really stiff. It's exactly what we want. You want it so stiff that you feel like you can't add any more flour to it. My mom likes to pack it down a little bit. So I don't know, if it's good for mom, then it's good for me. But she's always been doing this for the many decades that she's been baking with this method. You can also crumble some of the flour that's on your hands in there. Now it looks like this, and we add a little bit more on top just to make sure it's really dry. You add a lid to it. I would make it not a extremely tight lid, like nothing can ever get in and out, but you do want a lid like this. With the wet jars, because sometimes I have a little bit of wet sourdough starter here, as soon as I put this on there, it gets all dried out in the refrigerator and it creates a bit of a seal. I have found that this glass lid on a wet jar is enough of a lid. If you have, and I'm trying to think where I have a mason jar over here. This kind of lid is perfect. If you have the metal lid, that also works. It doesn't have to be super tight, but basically you just don't want anything to get into your sourdough starter while it's sitting in the refrigerator, because sometimes, even if we think we're super clean, we may have something that's not so good anymore in your refrigerator, or you may have some sauerkraut in there, different bacteria, different cultures, and you don't want anything to get in there to compromise it. And all you do now is put this jar in your refrigerator and let it sit there until you are ready to bake again. And I'm going to explain to you what you can do to bring this back to your active sourdough starter. Now that we have this sourdough starter that's been sitting in the refrigerator for however long, how do we get it back? The big caveat here is that you will need to decide when to bake. But with sourdough, it's not really a spontaneous, just open a cabinet, reach for a jar of baking powder and start baking, or maybe some commercial yeast. There's always a little bit of prep work involved. Let's assume you want to bake with it, where you want to use it at 8 a.m. the next morning. The night before, and it doesn't matter, it could be 6 p.m., it could be 8 p.m., it could be 10 p.m., the night before, you take your sourdough starter from the refrigerator as it is, and all you do is you add water. And before you're asking me how much water, since we don't measure anything and since we don't have detailed instructions, I can't tell you exactly how, but you can see I just poured some in there and then I stopped. You want to stir it all up, and you want to recreate a thick pancake batter-like consistency and mix it up just like this. And as luck has it, I think I poured the ideal amount in there. Some of that could just be because I've been doing this for so long, I can probably eyeball it, but there may have been an element of luck involved in it. I would go a little bit less on the water, start slow, add a little bit, and if it's really lumpy and there are some really dry bits and pieces in the middle, don't worry, you can break them up with your fork a little bit, but I wouldn't worry so much about them. You can always kind of fish them out later, and then you can always add a little bit more water later. What if you accidentally added too much water and you find that your sourdough starter is too runny? Then you just add a little bit more flour. It's really easy. So this is a fairly stiff starter, but that's how I like them for mostly my bread. Again, using my fingers here. And it also cleans my fingers because I don't know about you, but getting sourdough starter off of fingers and utensils and jars sometimes can be a little bit tricky. Now what? Simply leave this out on the counter. I like to cover it loosely. Do not put a tight lid on it because it will be waking up, and as a result of that, it's going to release gases and then you will create something in there. And just keep it on the counter. It doesn't have to be super warm. Now, if you have 72, 75 degrees, that's optimal. I often recommend using something like the Sour House Goldie that you can see there in the background there, because that creates the Goldilocks zone for your sourdough starter. If you don't have that, don't worry about it. Sourdough starters are actually fairly robust. Leave that sitting there overnight. And the next morning, your sourdough starter will look like this, because that's exactly what I did with this one. Let's assume for a moment, because I can hear your question, let's assume for a moment that your sourdough starter does not look like this the next morning. Then what I recommend doing is actually adding one feeding. So you can pinch a little bit off, put that in a separate jar, add flour and water. I always like to, as a rule of thumb, for 100% hydration, add the same amount in weight of water and flour and then mix it up. But in most cases, this is good to go. Let's assume you've had it in there for a couple of months or so and you don't really trust it. You can do this process one day before you actually want to bake with it, just to make sure that you have a good sourdough starter going. If you end up doing one discard because you end up with, you still wouldn't have had all the discards in the meantime, or the frustration and the wasted money on flour that you would have had you kept it going on the counter. Or some people even like to relegate their sourdough starters to a sourdough hotel. I don't know what they charge, but you can save that money and thank me later. And that's all there is. I have a little cheat sheet for you that you can download that I call the life cycle of your sourdough starter. The link is right here, the QR code. The link is also in the description box below. You can grab that and pin it to the inside of your cabinet. It visualizes how you keep your sourdough starter going with my method. I also have a link to the video in which how to make a sourdough starter right up there. And if you have more questions, because I know from experience when I make a video, then I can only go so deep and answer so many questions and offer so much personalized support. And that's why I have created my online sourdough course, Super Simple Sourdough. The link is in the description box below. There is a private Facebook group. You can ask me questions. And if you want even more direct access to me, because I know some of you really have that one question that I haven't for some reason answered somewhere, or would like more of an life back and forth with videos and photos and direct talking, you can join my membership, the Heritage Kitchen Table, where we sit down twice a month and on a live call, you can bring up questions, you can show me your sourdough starter, we can figure out what's going on, and we chat about all things sourdough and being German, German recipes, German food. You can also watch the replays if you don't make the live calls and simply send your question in early so you'll never miss anything. Check out the link below for the Heritage Kitchen Table membership. I hope that you found this helpful, but please do leave me your comments and questions down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.